Okay, so there's a lot of ground to cover here, but I'm gonna keep it under 13 minutes at least, somewhere around that range. First match, the women's 5-on-5-on-5, and this time all three members from each team got to be in the ring at the same time, which is, it's not something that normally happens, but it makes the most sense. I hate when they have to tag in their opponents. It's not right. But anyway, there were some highlight moments in this match, like Charlotte was going to do a power bomb on Carmella on the top rope, which that would have been a nice spot, but it got turned into a Hurricane Rana, and that was also a nice little spot. And then you had Asuka going off and showing her striking skills when Kairi Sane was eliminated. And there was this whole thing with Candice and Io apparently getting hurt early on, but that turns out to be a fake out later, you know. Lots of good stuff. My memory isn't all that great. I try to remember some of the best parts of it, but basically it ends with Sasha and Natalya, right? Sasha and Natalya do the heart attack, and Sasha turns on Natalya, and before that, Asuka actually turned on Charlotte when she did the green mist thing, and that was something. I hope that actually turns into some kind of feud, because those two need to mix it up again, and this time Asuka needs to win. Asuka lost twice to Charlotte, and it led her to a downward slope, and she needs to get back to being that badass, man. And you know, we sort of saw that tonight. It ultimately ends with Io doing a springboard drop kick onto, I think, Sasha. And there were other good spots in this match, like Sasha doing a Meteora off the top rope onto Rhea Ripley, right? And that was a nice little spot. And she tried it a second time, but see, here's the thing: they called it as though it was countered, but she wasn't even close to hitting. She wasn't even close enough to hit the Meteora in the first place. That's ridiculous. But yeah, she got kicked in the stomach, and that got countered. But Rhea Ripley ultimately got the win because of Io Shirai, and that was a nice little match. Coming up is Nakamura versus Styles versus Strong. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Roderick Strong. Very good match. Nakamura coming out hot early on in the match, showing off his striking skills, doing roundhouse kicks and all this stuff. He even, I think Styles even whipped Roderick into him, and he did that single leg drop kick that he does, and he did it off the top rope. He did a flying knee off the top rope. He really was the star of this match, to be honest. And him and Styles even had a back and forth at one point that was really cool to see. And he did, you know, it ended with I think him doing the feint kick the feint wheel kick that he does, and Styles doing a Pele, and Roderick Strong doing his knee to the back of the head, and that's actually how he wins. It was really cool to see, really fun match, and there were so many highlights in this, like oh man. But yeah, there's really too much to call in that. But yeah, Roderick Strong wins, and he does so by doing 2 of his signature moves back to back, and that's a cool thing to see. Next up is Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne for the NXT Championship. And this was some really good action. Pete Dunne trying to get Roderick Strong with the X-Plex early on. Okay, wait a minute. I just remembered that I made a little bit of a mistake. Roderick Strong actually won because of Shinsuke Nakamura, who did his Kinshasa, and then Roderick Strong stole the win. That's how it actually happened. I mixed his matchup with Adam Cole's. Adam Cole was the one who won with the running knee, with his signature. But yeah, there were some cool spots like the X-Plex. That's always cool. And yeah, Adam Cole countered. Adam Cole did a he did a Canadian Destroyer, which they call the Panama Express or something. I forgot. But yeah, he did a Canadian Destroyer on the apron. Then he countered the bitter end with a Canadian Destroyer and did the running knee to the back of the head. Then did it to the front, I think. Or I don't remember exactly. But yeah, that's how that match ends. Lots of good stuff. Once again, I apologize if my memory is bad, if anyone's actually watching this. I try to retain stuff, but it's not always there. But anyway, before I move any further, I want to talk about The Miz. The Miz keeps pestering Daniel Bryan like they're friends. Like they have this friendly rivalry going on, but it's actually just that Daniel Bryan doesn't respect The Miz, because The Miz should have never been Bryan's coach in NXT. And it's just awkward seeing The Miz trying to do pep talks with Daniel Bryan. That's weird to me. But the next match is The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal title. And in this match, just like the last one, the Fiend just wouldn't stay down. Daniel Bryan did his running knee multiple times. He wouldn't stay down. Did multiple kicks to him, wouldn't stay down. And it ends with him popping up from behind Daniel Bryan and catching Daniel Bryan in the mandible claw, and he actually pins him that way. So there was some okay highlights in this, but I'm just gonna move on to the men's 5-on-5-on-5, and that had some good highlights. Randy Orton getting eliminated early by Matt Riddle, and then doing an RKO after the fact. That was kind of a dick move. Keith Lee stopping Braun Strowman's momentum. That was pretty cool. Damian Priest did some pretty cool stuff with his striking abilities. And by the way, Matt Riddle didn't get to stay very long because of that RKO. He was pinned by Baron Corbin, of course. And it's just, it was really, really stupid. It was dumb. And the thing is, this match felt kind of rushed because there were just too many eliminations coming at once. It was ridiculous. Baron Corbin gets eliminated because of Roman Reigns, because that entire match, all he did was push Roman's buttons, and he just made it so hard to believe that Team SmackDown was actually going to win. You know, because he just kept going at Roman and the rest of the team. There was some other cool spots, like Ricochet doing that twisting moonsault that Rollins used to do, but for some reason stopped. But yeah, Roman did a Superman punch, speared Corbin, and then Corbin got eliminated. Chad Gable, almost called him Shorty G. I will never call him that. It's degrading to call a competitor that, to call a professional, to name a professional based on his height. That's stupid. It's degrading, and it's insulting to his talent. But yeah, Chad Gable, he did some pretty cool stuff, like that rolling German suplex that he usually does. He actually made Ricochet flip with that. But yeah, he was eliminated pretty quick because of Baron Corbin, of course. Which I don't get that, man. Like, I had Team SmackDown losing because of that, but it turns out Roman Reigns being the sole survivor is the reason why they won. And it was against Keith Lee, which, good for Keith Lee. He actually pinned Seth Rollins. That was pretty cool. And he's a big man that can move like a cruiserweight. A man his size should not be able to move like that at all. But now let's move on to Rey Mysterio versus Lesnar for the WWE Championship. And it wasn't that bad of a match, but it lasted almost 7 minutes, which is standard. It's standard for your typical Lesnar match. And it started off with Rey with a lead pipe and Brock Lesnar trying to avoid him and all this stuff. And it's just but Lesnar caught him with a couple clotheslines, suplexes, and Dominic actually interfered and helped Rey out with a double 619 and a double frog splash, but obviously that wasn't enough. Brock Lesnar hits the F5, end of story. Now, Baszler versus Bayley versus Shayna, which was an okay match, right? It was a solid main event. Becky, Shayna, Bayley, they gave it their all. But ultimately, Shayna won. And it was a fun match overall. People were expecting Ronda Rousey to show up, and I kind of was starting to suspect it. That's why people thought, oh, it's going to be the main event, right? that's why they thought it was the main event, because Ronda's supposed to show up, right? But she didn't. You know, it's you know, I kind of want Ronda to face other opponents that can sort of match her, like an Asuka, or you know, a Shayna Baszler, or even a Sonya Deville. You know, just fighter kind of, you know, those kind, you know, strikers or whatever. But they're not going to do that, because we already know how WWE feels about mirror matches, but they just don't like to do it. They like mixed matching people. But that's all the time. I've already went over the limit that I thought I wouldn't. I tried my best to you know, get in highlights and all this stuff. One more thing though. One more thing is I have to mention the Mauro Ranallo situation. Michael Cole claims that it was because of emotion from the night before, but that's not actually the case. See, Corey Graves, who has no business doing this, criticized Mauro Ranallo's commentary skills, even though he's just a color commentator and doesn't know what he's talking about. This caused Mauro to have a breakdown because he has depression. And that's really sad, right? Graves gets all kinds of slack for being a dick. Even, like, you shouldn't be doing things like that. You shouldn't be calling people out on Twitter. You should maybe private message them or something. I don't know, but not on Twitter. Don't call people out in public like that. That's stupid. Because Mauro Ranallo is actually one of the best NXT commentators, and Corey Graves is nothing compared to Mauro Ranallo, in my opinion. And a lot of people feel the same way. But yeah, that's all the time I have. I've already gone way over the expected amount, explaining all I could. And for anyone watching, I mean, you can give it a like, but you don't have to. You don't even have to rate it at all, just whatever. Give me feedback or something, I don't know. But you don't have to do any of that, just, you know, whatever. If you actually like the video, you can, but doesn't matter. I'm just gonna leave you with the rest of this video, and I hope at least someone is watching, because I'm still kind of wanting people to tune in, but whatever.